Hello and welcome to Talk a Good Game. It's match preview of Bournemouth against West Ham United. If you're a Hammers fan and you're tuning in, would you like to win a signed Sir Trevor Booking shirt? What about a signed Paul Di Canio captain's armband? We'll tell you how you can do just that involving this game later on in the show. Before we get there, Gonzo, would you like to kick us off with your thoughts on the Cherries, please?
Yeah, excellent football club, success story. I know they had a loss last night, which, one of these things happen. I'm sure I'm sure they'll come back and bounce back and win their next game. Maybe I've gone too early with that one. Maybe if their next game wasn't West Ham, of course. I think they've done remarkably well. Excellent ownership. They come in. You never know, particularly with American owners, if they're going to have a clue what to do. These guys clearly do. It's not their only football club, of course, Bournemouth, and they've made the unpopular decision. I think at the time, I say unpopular. How unpopular it was amongst Bournemouth fans, I don't know, but certainly in a wider spectrum, there was, people didn't realise why they got rid of Gary O'Neill, and I think it was a case of little old Bournemouth. You should be happy with what you got. Look, you got a decent enough manager, but they had bigger ambitions than that, and they pushed it through. And now they've got a really good recruitment process. I think by all accounts, they've already signed up the best young player in France for next season as well to complement their already wonderfully talented squad. Brand new training ground. I almost forgot. That is embarrassingly impressive. It's impressive because it's just an impressive building. It's embarrassing because of what we have got. It is, honestly, it looks like a spaceship. It does look. It looks like a spaceship, and we're in porter cabins, and I couldn't help. It was, you're watching something, you're not really enjoying it, but you carry on watching it anyway. And I was watching this clip of the
your videos.
Excellent. That's a good one. I like it. That's brilliant. Very good.
Potter's football.
That's very good. Oh dear. I like it. You might have ruined the preview, Lex. I'm laughing too much at that one. Anyway, you will understand then that when I was watching it, I wasn't enjoying myself at all. I think I was watching Tavernier being shown around, and then I think maybe Cliver got shown around, and they were saying, "Wow, this is amazing!" And they've just got state-of-the-art facilities. They want to do something with a stadium as well. Ordinarily, I'd sit here and say, I really like it. I think it's a great stadium. It's in Kings Park there. Really tight, intimate stadiums. Brilliant. But they're going to do something at the stadium. I bet they do that right as well. There's nothing negative. They've got a brilliant coach. There's nothing negative to say about Bournemouth. Nothing.
Yeah, I had the same feeling when I was watching that video of the training facilities. I did have a concern. I don't like circular car parks. I never find them useful.
It's not a severance. It's not a severance thing, is it?
No, it's definitely not a severance thing. But the spaces are weird then, aren't they? Because you can't just line them up. It's you can't just anyway. Small thing, but it does look really nice. And when you watch it though, you sort of have this thought of this is a club going places. Yeah. This is a club with ambition, and they don't just say it. To do it as well. I think any club can turn up and go, oh, we want to do this and we want to do that. I'll be honest with you, when the Nottingham Forest owner rocked up there and said, we've got ambitions of Champions League football, good luck with that one. They were in the Championship at the time as well. I thought, well, you've got to get them in the Premier League and then you've got to stay in the Premier League. Then somehow you're going to go from 17 to the top 4. Rubbish. Well, who's laughing now? But when you look at what Bournemouth are doing, and it's like the opposite of what we done. We got into European football, but it felt like we were there for the holiday to some extent. And there was very much an enjoy it while it lasts kind of thing, because you feel like perhaps the infrastructure isn't there. And you haven't got there by design. You've got there by accident. Whereas if Bournemouth in 5-10 years' time got into European football, you would come back to today and go, well, look at the training ground they put in place in order to build towards that. I've been very impressed with them this season. Not in great form at the minute, so their European races, it's still on, but I would suggest they're getting overtaken and they need to decrease that gap before it comes a little bit too much. It's only 3 points currently, but that's behind Aston Villa. So for Bournemouth to get there, you've got to believe that Villa are going to drop points as well, and more points in Bournemouth. So what has been a very successful season so far might end up being a bit of an underwhelming one if they were to. Currently, they're 10th in the league. I think if they were to finish there, if I was a Bournemouth fan, I'd have a little bit of disappointment. Whilst it's been a good season, we said at the start of season 10, yeah, I'll take that. But when they've been up there for so long and you start to drop down a bit, I think it can actually add a little bit of a missed opportunity tag to it. Do you think they'll do it, though? Do you think they'll get European football?
No, no, I don't. Not now. But that's okay. That's cool because, still at Bournemouth is a case of buy your season ticket if you can get one and enjoy the ride because for all the reasons that we've said, just enjoy it because Bournemouth, and I would love to be able to say this about West Ham, Bournemouth on their day can beat anyone and they have their day quite a lot. So, they're a match and they're a pain in the arse. You would not look forward to playing Bournemouth. I don't mean us. I'm not looking forward to playing Bournemouth anyway, but I think if you were a big team, you'd not look forward to playing Bournemouth. Whatever. Man City needing to win, maybe Arsenal looking to close that gap on Liverpool. If they knew Bournemouth was next up, you'd probably think, I'd rather play someone else. Quite frankly, I think they're a pain in the arse, but I mean that in the nicest possible way.
Yeah, I don't think they will either, and I think they'd be okay with the Conference League. I do think maybe European football would be a season or two too soon for them because I think this season or recently they've started to struggle a little bit where it wasn't that long ago. They only had like 11 senior players, so the bench was just kids. Yeah. That was it, and they had a lot of injuries. But I think then the players that were injured, like Alex Scott, for example, they got by because near enough their starting 11 was okay, bar Evan Nielsen. Whereas now, there's one or two important players that's been missing. Ryan Christie's been injured for a little while, and they're still having to play him. So they've got like a 70% Ryan Christie out there. Tavernier's been injured. Clivert missed a game against Ipswich. And when those important players get injured, they can struggle. And I would worry that a European campaign would maybe expose a lack of squad depth at club. And it's not to say they won't deserve it. It's not to say they won't be good enough at it. I do think the impact of that European campaign could be severe sometimes. We've seen it at West Ham, but my point is they've struggled recently by playing Premier League football. I think the FA Cup not overshadowed it. It gave them hope, a bit of light in a bit of a storm because they've got one win in the last 7 Premier League games, 1 draw, 5 defeats. They're not in great nick at the minute. And since Graham Potter started at West Ham and Bournemouth have picked up the exact same amount of points.
He's had a negative impact on Bournemouth as well, Potter. He's getting worse than I thought.
yeah, it's his fault that Bournemouth
it is clearly
get European football. Players you admire. Well, I guess before we do that, do you want to sing Iraola's praises?
Yeah,
you can say no if you don't want to.
I want to sing a song about Iraola? Not yet. I haven't got one. You didn't leave me with enough time to think something up. But brilliant. He just carries himself so well. I've said it all before. See the video when we played him earlier in the season. We're playing twice this season already. See either of those videos for full details on my opinion of Iraola. What I would say is they were meant to struggle this season, and the doom was predicted when they sold Solanke. And I think it says everything about him and the club. I don't think they've missed him really.
No, better.
Yeah, maybe. So well done, Bournemouth. Players that I admire. Evan Nielsen just mentioned. I love Kirkes. He's brilliant, isn't he? I wish we'd have signed him. We should have signed him because we knew all about it. Go and look when we played them in Europe, and we discussed him before we'd even played a single match. So they've got this young player. He's coming up. He's brilliant. Then we saw him, and he was brilliant, and we still didn't sign him. Anyway, there you go. They got him. Well done them. Huijsen. He's good. I'll tell you that now. He's very good. I like Christie. I didn't even know he was 70%. I've been watching a 70% Christie. He's pretty damn good. Clive, I'm just loads of them, mate. Semenya. They've got a really, really good team. A really good team. Loads of them.
Yeah, I think they've got a lot of good players in that list. I'd put Clivert. Semenya, although he's been poor the second half of the season, I don't think he's been quite as good as he should be. And Evan Nielsen, I still smile when I see Lewis Cook play because of that injury. I still remember when he was at Leeds thinking this guy's like the next big thing, and he had that injury. So to see him performing really well, I'm pleased to see players come back from such big, issues to some extent, whether it's injuries or not, and then come back and go on and have that career that was perhaps promising. I still think back then, I thought he'd go on and become England's central midfielder. He's not quite that level, but he's a damn good player. But I do think the three that are a cut above, and I'll be surprised if all three are at Bournemouth next season. I know Clivert's already said Huijsen's going, but someone's got to stump up the money for him. But he does have a pretty reasonable release clause, I think, around about 60 million or something like that, which it's a bit of a bargain, really, if you can get him for 60 million. Kirkez is the other one. And then Zabarny too, the other centre back. When he got sent off against Wolves, I think they really missed him in the few games that he was absent. He came back against Ipswich, but I do think those three players are fantastic, just that level. Anyway, shall we talk about West Ham?
Unfortunately, yes.
Before we do that, just want to point in direction of this video sponsors, Match Bingo. You can download Match Bingo using the link in the description or the pinned comments or by scanning the QR code, which will be on your screen now. Match Bingo combines bingo with this game in particular. You get your bingo card, you get 15 things you need to occur in a match, but you don't need to check it off yourself. Put your phone down, watch the game. Match Bingo will do it all for you. And if your card wins money, you'll get the money automatically. You don't need to claim it or anything like that. It pays out first line, second line, full house, plus there's a bonus pot, £250 up for grabs, and it's only £2 per play. Got two promotions for you. If you're a newbie, you sign up using our link, you deposit £10, they'll give you £10 credit on top of that, giving you a lot more bang for your buck. And also for this game in particular, as well as other games around the Premier League, you buy 4 cards, you get your 5th card free. So £8, you'll get 5 cards and 5 chances at scooping money out of that £250 pot. It is a gambling app, so please do gamble responsibly, 18 plus and over. But if you're interested, links in the description below, QR code is on your screen. Gonzo, would you like a bit of team news?
Yes, please.
It's a bit positive, actually. Kudus and Todibo obviously missed the game against Wolves, although Todibo was on the bench. Both are expected to be fine for this one. The players that were not in the squad, such as Soufal and Ings and Irving, they're all fine. So the only 2 players unavailable for Graham Potter this weekend are Somerville and Mikel and Antonio. Gonzo, with all that in mind, I think the first thing we've got to discuss, rather than the personnel, is do you want to see a formation change?
I absolutely do, Gio. I absolutely do. I think in terms of protecting the goalkeeper, the back three has worked. But whenever I've seen a back three at its best, and you can go back to Beckenbauer here. I mean, you can go back to any of those guys. Sammer playing for Germany. You really remember it being a German thing, sort of years and years ago. Somebody steps out from the back three and makes the additional midfielder. Remember Glenn Hoddle doing it at the end of his career. I think he was at Swindon, then he went to Chelsea as a player manager. That was what he did. He was the centre of back three, and he made the additional midfielder. And that's how that system was supposed to work, and that's how it used to work. We don't do that. So our midfield looks bereft. And it may have even worked what he wanted to do when we looked absolutely shocking in midfield against Wolves. That probably would have worked. We probably wouldn't have been overrun if it had done that, and we had somebody maybe capable of doing that or something like that. People remember Ruud Gullit doing it, of course, for Chelsea. And so this was a big thing and something that was always done. If we're not going to do that, then we're only really getting half the benefit of the system. So, and I know sometimes maybe in more recent years it's the wide centre backs that go in and do something, but you just. I just don't think we've got that many layers or that much complexity to us at the moment. We can start doing that. So I would almost, if I'm going to do it, I'll go back to basics and do that. Failing to do that, forget it. Let's just have the extra guy in midfield, and so I would switch formation.
I think this is going to sound so weird to say this, but offensively from the back three, I think our best performances have actually come when we've had Cresswell and Soufal in there. I remember both of them coming out at the same time and just leaving Kilman one-on-one on the halfway line, but we're really overloading the opposition when we're utilising it. I would like to see the formation switch as well for 2 reasons. One, it gets Bourne back in his best position. I don't think it's possible with the back three, and I've had enough now of underperforming Jared Bowen. Maybe I'm being a bit naive to say that it's not Bowen's fault, but I am willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because the guy gives 100% in every single game. So it's not like you've got players downing tools here. It's a guy that's trying, it's just not working. So I'd like to see him back in the position he was on the right-hand side of a front three. We've seen him in the second half against Wolves. I thought he was much more involved. It didn't yield anything, but I'd like to see him back there from the start. And the second reason is, if you're going to play a back three, you put focus on your centre-back coming out of it. I put focus on your wing-backs. At least one of them needs to be really good going forward. And I don't think we've got that. I don't even think we've got the player to do it. It's not like, well, he needs drop so he can come in and produce that. That guy isn't there. That guy may eventually be Somerville, but he's not available. I don't think Wan-Bissaka's good enough at it. I don't think Sefal's good enough at it. I don't think Emerson's good enough at it. I don't think Scarles is good enough at it yet. He may become good enough. I hope so. And they don't necessarily both need to be really good at it in the final third, but at least one of them do, so you can focus your attacks on that side of the pitch. At the minute, we need to try and just squeeze as much sort of creativity as we can out of this team. And I think switching to a back four would do that, because as we've seen against Wolves, Wan-Bissaka as a fullback plays the same as Wan-Bissaka at wing-back.
Yeah.
He still gets forward. He still gets down the line. So it's not like you're going to be missing that attack. So back four for me. So talk me through the personnel, your goalkeeper and your defence, please.
Iraola. I will play Wan-Bissaka at right back.
Me too.
I'm going to play Todibo. It was a sickness thing rather than anything overly sinister. Look, it's quite funny, actually, because I was just about to say Mavropanos makes me nervous. I think we can actually see that Mavropanos makes Kilman nervous, because we got proof of that in the last game. That's reason enough not to play him. That in itself is reason enough. So, yeah, I'd go with Todibo and Kilman. And then I would play Emerson at left back.
Yeah, completely the same. Back four for me. Emerson comes in. I think Scarles is still going through his apprenticeship, and I don't think he had the best game in the world against Wolves. Whereas against Everton, I think Emerson had a really strong performance. So for that reason, I would take him in. And Bournemouth have pace out wide, so we're going to need to make sure that our fullbacks are really switched on. And I worry that if we were to play the back three and our wing backs get caught out upfield, there's quite a lot of space in behind us to exploit, and I do worry Bournemouth would do that. So we go to the back four. Everyone sort of has an immediate opponent. Win your individual battle, will be all right. Moving into midfield, then talk me through how you'd like to line up in the middle of the park.
Well, I'd have Souček and Alvarez at the base there, if you want to call it that.
We might have a matching 11 here.
Yeah, well, probably do. So Paqueta is your number 10, I assume.
Yeah. And
well, there you go. Front three of Kudus, Bowen, and Niclas Fullkrug up top, and it's a good team. It is. I don't think he'd do it. By the way, as Gio always says, this is what we would like to see, not we think we'll see. That team has a chance. It really does, and it's a team I'd really like to see as well. But yeah, I'm not convinced we'll get to see that.
Yeah, I mean, there was temptation for me to put Solar in central midfield, but which one they're playing alongside, I don't really know. Ward-Prowse for me needs to drop for this game. I thought he was absolutely terrible against Wolves, but even in games where he's been good at playing it safe and just passing from defender A to defender B. I think it's time to ask for a little bit more from our midfielders here. So he's got to be dropped for this one. I think it makes it easy to bring Alvarez and Souček in, who both have had a bit of a rest, actually. They obviously had the international break. Them two were away playing for the country. They've come back. They've not started at Wolves. So they should be a little bit fresher for this one. I think we can maybe underestimate the impact of midweek to weekend, but certainly off the back of an international break as well. To go from the international break to a midweek game and then straight into a weekend game, it can be quite tough. And we obviously had the benefit of not playing in the FA Cup as well. So, yeah, get some energy back into this team. Hopefully Kudus is able to play this one. Not ideal being out on the left, but whether Bournemouth plays Smith or Cook there, I think I want to see them getting at it and Bournemouth back in his position. And Fullkrug has to start. has to start.
Yeah, he looked good. And I thought Potter's comments about Fullkrug were quite telling as well. He's can be a little bit coy. He plays the game, the media game, Potter. And I thought they were quite revealing about what he gives the team, what he adds to the team, how we're different. We're able to attack in a different way. And I wouldn't have liked if I was Evan Ferguson, I would not have liked the way I heard. If it was a cartoon and it was Potter talking about Fullkrug, you would have seen like the hearts coming up and the birds fluttering around and all that. If I was Ferguson, I wouldn't have liked all that, I've got to say. So yeah, he knows, and really, he should be playing him for an hour, I think, in this one.
Yeah, well, he's played an hour so far across 2 games, and I think he's looked bloody good under Potter. So I think Fullkrug, for me, almost increases my hopes of winning this game by just being in the team. Right, before we discuss how we think the game's going to go, just want to point in the direction of our Patreon. Quite simple, really. If you want us to keep producing videos on YouTube for free, then we need Patreon. If you took away Patreon, we wouldn't do as many videos. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. So if you fancy supporting us, and you get more videos in return for your commitment, there's other benefits too, which I'm going to quickly tell you about. But even if you only wanted the YouTube videos, you can sign up from £3.60 per month. Now that's the all-in price. There's no VAT to be added on top of that, and it turns into £4.20. It's £3.60 that comes out your bank account once a month. That's it. Less than £1 a week to help keep Hammers Chat going. You can sign up by going to patreon.com/Hammers Chat. The link's in the description and it's in the pinned comments of this video. Just click it, sign up. If you join for a year, you'll save 16% as well. There's always deals on there. There's plenty of content over there, West Ham based. So we've got likes to player ratings, opposition prediction. We've also got a podcast over there, which has got nothing to do with West Ham. So you're thinking, I don't want to join up. I'm sick of West Ham content. This is enough. Well, we've got the podcast over there, which has got nothing to do with West Ham. It's proving quite popular with our patrons, as is our behind the scenes series where we discuss Hammers Chat. We discuss how much we earn. We discuss the good things, the bad things, our worries, anything about Hammers Chat, because you ask the questions, we answer them honestly. But my favourite thing, what I think would be my favourite thing if I was a patron, is a prediction competition, which we've got running for this game. You guess the score, you guess the first goal scorer, get both right, you're in the draw, and someone will win signed goodies. It depends on which tier you subscribe to. But this weekend, we've got a signed Tony Gale book up for grabs, got a signed Jimmy Walker book up for grabs, got a signed Paulo Di Canio captain's armband up for grabs, and a signed Sir Trevor Brooking shirt as well. We've given over £1.5 worth of prizes this season with the prediction competition. So get signed up. You're missing out. You're missing out. Go have a look. Gonzo, bit of a... I don't know how to describe this game. It's not a big game. It's not an important game. But I think it's please give us something Potter game.
I'll go further than that. I think Potter's coming under pressure. I really do. I think he's coming under pressure. You can play like that and win, but you can't play like that and lose. You just can't. You can't. Because the victories and the points justify the crap and boring football. That is not... I've been looking at him and thinking, go on, disprove it. I want him to be stung by the statistics. Sky Sports, they've got a massive screen. The geezer stood in front of the screen on Sky Sports in a bloody 12-foot high screen displaying that West Ham have the worst attack in the Premier League since Potter came in. He can't be oblivious to that. People will screenshot that and WhatsApp it to Graham Potter. He will know.
He doesn't even need that, though, because like the clubs employ analysts and data people these days. There's people at that club whose job is to go over the game and produce data based on...
Of course. I'm talking about an outward pride, though, which is... I don't want people saying this about me. I don't want people to believe that about me. I want him to believe. Actually, my credentials are better than that. No, I can coach a team that can attack. I'm going to disprove him. I want to see a reaction from him. And I thought that would happen when the stats initially came out 3 games ago. And we haven't one shot on target in the last game. And we're all desperate. And even the people that are really supportive of him are desperate. Because it's much better in the second half. And you can wrap it in whatever you want. And you can stick some flowers on it and a nice bow and a rosette and a nice label. But even if you thought we were better in the second half, we had 1 shot on target in the whole bloody game.
And that was in the first half.
So I mean, it's bad. It's really, really bad. And then you look at it, and he is. I should have done it before this. I think when he took over from Lopetegui, I might have one of these wrong, but I think we were above Crystal Palace, Everton, Manchester United.
We're 13th.
Right. We're now looking. It's you wouldn't put anyway. You might bet £1 with me that Wolves don't overtake us, but you wouldn't put your house on it.
I wouldn't even put £1 on it.
Right.
I'm having that quid.
And the reason then I want to put anything really big on it is because they actually probably think it might happen. So the longer he stays in it, the more people overtake us. We're just dropping. So we're dropping and the football's boring, right? So he is under pressure. He really, really is. He needs to do something. And your video yesterday, I think it was yesterday, you said if he'd have only got a 6-month contract, what would you be doing? And I think it was a great point. We're analysing it differently because on a 2.5-year deal, which we now know has got a break clause after 18 months. But what you were basically saying was if he was a caretaker manager, we were getting towards it now. Not only would we be thinking, actually, I'm not sure I want this guy next season, the club would already be looking at alternatives for next season. That's what we're dealing with. The only reason we're not is because we're hoping it might get better. So he is under pressure. So he needs to turn that hope. I mean, there's a difference between proof and evidence, right? But he needs to start giving us some evidence that things will get better. And first of all, he needs to show that he can. And I do think that playing Fullkrug, and I do think by ditching probably the formation that ultimately he wants to play until he's got the right players, I think that will help him. I really, really do. And it will really help him. There's two things that can help him. If we beat Bournemouth, it would help him. But if we attacked a lot against Bournemouth, that would also help him as well. Him sitting back, trying not to concede a goal and maybe nicking one, only helps him if we win. Because sometimes those tactics fail. Well, you haven't got to look very far to see them failing. You haven't got to go and look back very far. And if that fails, then there's even more pressure on him, even more. So, he needs to produce something here. He's definitely under pressure.
Yeah, the thing that frustrates me is when in press conferences, I mean, first of all, the thing I'll sort of take reassurance from to some extent is he keeps talking about we need to attack more, we need to be better attacking. So I'm thinking, well, I'm glad you're aware of the issue, but can you fix it, please? Because you've said this 4 games ago and you've not really done much in between. But the other thing, and this is the bit that frustrates me, as he keeps talking about they, the club, we need to build a relationship with the home fans, produce a team at the home. Now, mate, you don't start that next season. That's already started. The relationship has begun. You don't start the relationship when you decide. It's not like you're seeing a woman and you're not sure you want to make her your girlfriend. So you're having a little bit of fun, and then a couple of months later, you're going, "Oh, shall we make this official? Do you fancy being, should we do it?" That's not it. The minute you took that job, you started to build the relationship with the fans. But I worry that he sometimes speaks about it as if, well, once we try a few things and we do a bit of this, we do a bit of that, eventually, then we'll start. But no, it's already started. And you're almost sort of like on minus points, if you like, because of what you've been producing.
Of course.
So if you could start improving things a bit more, because at the minute, there's a lot of people that will be going on Saturday undecided if they want to renew their season ticket. Well, this is the advert. You can send as much emails and text messages as you want, but ultimately, Saturday afternoon is the advert to say, renew your season ticket, spend 800 quid, 900 quid, £1,000, spend that much money on this next season. We've got to see something. We've got to see something that we enjoy, because I'm actually surprised. Maybe I shouldn't have been. I'm surprised how many people would sack him. And there's a big difference between the hypothetical situation, which is if you only had a 6-month deal, what would you do? Because I would say twist, but would I sack him? No, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But there's people that are happy to see him paid off already. That's not good. And unless things improve, that number is only going to get bigger. It's not going to get less.
Yes.
So he needs to be. I want him to start August with a bit of a clean slate. Next season, I want him to start with a clean slate. But you only get to do that by doing something now. Because the football's crap between now and then the season, the results are crap. Come August, the enthusiasm's not going to be there. Because people go, oh, I'll be like that. I'll be thinking, oh, I'm not sure about this guy. I hope we've got our eye on someone else already. Transfer window, are we sure about giving this guy all the money to spend? Because he might not be here in November. He's not on thin ice. But we need something. We need fun. We need happiness.
Yeah.
Are we going to get it on Saturday, Gonzo? Are you feeling fruity?
No.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
No. I am buoyed by what I've seen from Fullkrug, but that's so precarious because he can break at any minute, and I don't like having so much riding on such an unreliable player. I've read several times, we keep him fit until the end of the season. Yeah, it would be better, wouldn't it? But that's a really, really big if. I'm like you. I want Bowen playing in his best position. He might have. The trouble is, Potter might have incrementally made some players look better with his system. Maybe Kilman. Maybe even Mavropanos is not quite as error-prone as he was before. But if you're going to make players who are not really key players slightly better, but make your best players significantly worse, then the net result is still less. And I think if you'd have had a poll at the end of last season, who are West Ham's best players?
Well, we did. Fabianski was here.
Right, okay, well, that's not great, and it doesn't particularly suit my example.
It's a joke. You said a poll. Never mind.
Oh, very good. Sorry, that's your second. I wasn't expecting a second joke in the video. To be fair, it was. You probably would have said Bowen and Kudus, and he hasn't shown any encouragement from me that he could get either of those playing. He needs to show it now. Whatever this stuff is, whatever it is you do, your 10 years in Sweden, learning your trade, Brighton, Chelsea, working with some top players at Chelsea, and then he went on his travels and went. A lot of managers do this. I think it's a really, really good thing to do. You went going to spend a bit of time at Barcelona, and then go and visit a few training sessions at some Bundesliga clubs and speak to some coaches and some tacticians and whatever it is that you've gathered in that time, whatever that knowledge base is, can you now apply it and just get this team fine? Because just to go sort of bolt onto what you were saying, losing, if he carries on losing and carries on collecting even just the same number of points as he has done since he's been here, we will get overtaken by Wolves. He finished the season and it will be so, everyone will be so sick of it by the end of the season. You're right. Not only will he not start with a clean slate next season, he would have to start a swashbuckling start to the season, proper razzmatazz and everything, right? Because because you would have erased your credit so much. If we were crap in the first 3 games of next season, then people would be calling for his head at the very start of the season. It's not only he hasn't got a clean slate because of himself. He has to really realise why he has this job, and he doesn't just have this job because Lopetegui was shit. He has this job because of what preceded it before as well. And there is a real desire and a real appetite for some decent football, some happy times at West Ham. And I know people say, oh, you won the trophy, happy times. Of course, yeah, absolutely. But West Ham are in a different position to everybody else. Maybe not Man United once they move to theirs. We've got a ground that's too big for us, basically. And because of that, we have to be really creative with our pricing. We've got to be really enticing with our football. And we've got to pull some tricks, and he needs to understand that. He absolutely needs to understand that. Particularly, I do wonder if the club are articulating it to him that our renewal rates are at 64% or whatever. This is he's got to give us something. Got to give us something to do it. So yeah, I think hard to be fruity about this one.
Do you know how when you were saying about how like Potter did what other managers do, they go to other different clubs? Think any manager's ever come to West Ham? So right then, what's up? Can't get in the poor cabin, mate. Oh,
do you know that
you bang the door and pull
you see that little, or is it a GIF? You know the one where the little kid's running down the hallway and he's all excited, and then he turns around and scarpers off. That's what they do when they go into our training ground. They see the porter cabins. They do a 180, and I'm sure they have. In fact, They have. Because we've actually interviewed one of them on our Patreon. I just can't remember who this is. Who it was actually. Oh, who was it? Because it was he said David Moyes. Oh, I can't even remember. There you go. That was a good advert for Patreon.
I'm not convinced we lose on Saturday, Gonzo, which is positive. I think Bournemouth's form isn't great at the minute, and they are, I wouldn't say running on empty, but like I said, I think they're struggling a little bit. I caught about half an hour in two different parts of them against Ipswich. It was the first 15 minutes, and it was the first 15 minutes of the second half. Got to see the Laps goal, but wow, I mean, talk about, you haven't seen it. It lifts the net off the ground. It was that hard, but Bournemouth were all over Ipswich, really. The scoreline didn't really tell the tale of the game, and I think Bournemouth have just been struggling against sort of low block sides, and this is the compliment to Bournemouth, which teams are now looking at them and going, whoa, back off. This is a good team. They've got pace. They'll whip you apart on the counter, so let's not let them counter-attack. Let's sit back, go into low block mode, and I think that's when Bournemouth struggle. So Potter's pragmatic tactics, I think, may actually work a little bit. As you said, we faced them twice this season already under Lopetegui, 1-1, drew 1, so not quite pressure, but well, the other guy did it, so can you do it as well? I would argue that when we drew against Bournemouth around Christmas time, Bournemouth were better then than they are currently. They're also out of form coming into this one. I think he's got to make changes. I think he will make changes. And there's a lot of good players available to him this weekend. And I think if we see Bowen in his best position, we see Fullkrug up front, it's only half the battle, though, isn't it? You've still got to let them go out and attack. But if he does that and we turn up with the right attitude, I don't think we lose this match, actually. I think, I'm not saying we'll win it, so you can probably guess where I'm going with my score prediction. But, yeah, what are you saying? Final thoughts, score prediction, and let me get my sticky pad.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I want to see a reaction from him. It's not even a reaction from the players particularly. It's up to him to lift those players. He really, we've not had a new manager bounce. I hope we sort of get one now, and I hope he is wounded by the criticism. What I mean is the statistical criticism, not the other stuff, not the anything that I haven't even. To be fair, I've not seen anything personal about him. Not a shred of it.
No, I've not seen anything.
But actually, the stuff that the stats that show you're not doing as well as Lopetegui, the stats that show you got the worst attack in the Premier League. I want him to be stung by them, and I want him to react.
It's all the metrics as well. Do you know the attack thing? It's not even just shots on target and shots. It's like passes into the final third, touches in the opposition box.
We're 17th for those.
Yeah.
So yeah, even at the best, we're still just above relegation. Yeah.
So it's not like it's. Sometimes some data can be a bit misleading. Do you know if our shots on target were bottom, but our actual shots were like 6? But I would just show that we're getting the opportunities to shoot. It's just the finishing's poor. But if our shot count was low, but we were getting into the opposition box and the final third plenty, it would show that we're lacking just that final pass or something. Yeah. But what the data suggests is we're not getting into the final third. And when we're in the final third, we're not getting into the box. And when we are eventually getting in around the 18-yarder, we ain't getting any shots away. So, like, everything's bad, but it backs each other bits of evidence up, I think. I think it all suggests poor attack. Score prediction, what you got? We've got the same starting 11. We might have the same score prediction here.
Yeah, well, I think we probably have. I've got a 1-1, which I think is probably a safe bet.
Yeah, I can't find my pad. I don't know where it is.
But you would have written 1-1. Oh, right. Okay.
I've written 1-1 on a bit of paper on my notes, actually. So, yeah, I'm going 1-1 as well, Gonzo. So there you go. Hopefully, maybe, hopefully he is actually listening to YouTubers for...
That was, yes, we did get the blame for the loss, didn't we? We got the blame for the loss,
But listen, if he starts... Born in his best position and Fullkrug up front and we win, I expect the credit.
We got the criticism, we deserve the credit.
for anyone unaware, the last 30 seconds was a joke. We're not being serious. But saying that, anyway, listen, thank you very much, Gonzo. If you're going to the game on Saturday, enjoy it. If not, we'll be live with our build-up show. If you enjoyed this preview, though, please do drop a like and subscribe to the channel. As mentioned throughout the video, if you would like to support Hammers Chat, help us keep doing Hammers Chat and producing videos on the regular, you can sign up. Go to patreon.com/HammersChat. All and every support. You might not think £3.60 is a lot of money to us. You might think, oh, that's not going to go very far. It does.
Particularly if a million of you do it.
Well, if every single person watching this video joined up, then we'd be all right. We'd be fine. Thank you for joining us. We'll catch you in a bit.